I'm a social psychologist by training. I study the social psychology of inequality. So resources are unequal across society in the United States, across history. And so part of what we do in our research is try to understand why we don't share. How do group dynamics reduce sharing of resources and opportunities? How do people's emotional experiences cut off the opportunity for collective action and solidarity? I'm Michael Kraus, a social psychologist at Yale University. This year at Russell Sage, I'm studying Asian American experiences with racism, coping strategies for those experiences, and efforts that Asian Americans engage in towards solidarity with other racial minority groups. The context for studying this is the 2020 pandemic. During that time, there was an uptick in Asian American experiences of racism and hate crimes. Those experiences were intense and were deeply felt by members of the Asian American community. That was happening partly as a function of being blamed for the pandemic, the virus coming from Wuhan, China. Those racism experiences are happening at the same time as, for Asian Americans, as racism experiences across marginalized groups in the United States. You had the emerging racial justice movement that happened in 2020 around the murder of George Floyd, and this reckoning that folks in the United States had around police brutality. And so Asian Americans are experiencing racism in this broader context where society is grappling, at least for a moment, with experiences of racial inequality across a number of sectors. What we're interested in this research, as a part of this Russell Sage Foundation project, is understanding how Asian Americans relate to that broader experience. How do Asian Americans see themselves as connected or linked to those other marginalized groups? And do Asian Americans, in the context of understanding their experience of racism, reach out in solidarity to other marginalized groups during that broader context of the pandemic and afterwards? Social scientists don't tend to study Asian American experiences, full stop. So I want us to have a social science that represents Asian Americans. And I think our research project can be a part of that area of research that, I hope will grow and continue. My time at Russell Sage has been amazing. I think about the traditional kind of academic conversations that you tend to have. They tend to be siloed within your discipline, and they tend to be in the weeds a little bit. And so to spend time engaged with an interdisciplinary set of scholars who are tremendous and accomplished in their own disciplines really allows you the space and time to think differently about your project, to think about your project and how it sits at the joints of other disciplines, to think bigger about how your methodologies and the little details about them can be improved, can be changed and transformed by bringing in other ways of thinking about the same problem.